So we're gonna talk about the Brooklyn Nets real quick. I kind of really want to dive into this whole Kyrie Irving situation because I've been having a lot of discussions about can these guys make the playoffs and things like that. I mean, I think it's very possible. I mean, when you put Kyrie on the floor with anybody, I think he's one of the best guards in the league as far as scoring wise and things like that. But can't play a lick of defense, of course. But then you have to start looking at the team that's surrounding him between Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie, Rodion Caruth. Of course, you have Garrett Temple over there now, solid 3-and-D guy. I mean, we'll kind of have to see how this plays out. Would that squad be arguably better than the Boston Celtics squad? I mean, it's kind of a toe-to-toe situation. Of course, you have, Jason Tatum. I don't think anybody in the Brooklyn Nets is better than Jason Tatum or will ever be better than Jason Tatum besides, as far as, the young guys. I think that's probably the best young guy Kyrie has ever really played with. As far as, Karis LeVert, we'll have to kind of see what kind of jump he makes. I mean, he did kind of start breaking out last season until he got the injury that sidelined him for a good amount of games. So, I mean, we'll see how Karis really just, progresses. Spencer Dinwiddie, you have to imagine that he'll take a step back to Kyrie and, play the backup point guard position permanently for real, unless they just go full on nuts and try to experiment with some Dinwiddie and Kyrie lineup starting backcourt. So, I mean, I think you have a whole bunch of defensive problems on that note, but I mean, hey, it may be worth a shot to these guys, but I wouldn't try it. But, Dinwiddie, is he better than Terry Rozier? I think so, just a little bit, just a tad. I mean, it's not really a big drop-off when you talk about Terry Rozier and Spencer Dinwiddie, but Dinwiddie has been consistent. He has shot a better percentage from three-point line. He does get a decent amount of assists all the time, and he did play with D'Angelo Russell, and we all know how both of those guys were. When they shared the backcourt, it was times where it was good, but then times where it was bad also. And then on top of that, you have to kind of have, well, how can I say this? Consistency between both of your backcourts. But I mean, hey, we'll see how Dinwiddie reacts to Kyrie. I mean, he seems to have welcomed the guy in with open arms. I mean, if I was him, I'd kind of be pissed because I could have been starting and D'Angelo Russell's out of there. But I mean, hey, maybe this is good for him too. Maybe this will result in a championship. I mean, maybe he's content with it. So who knows? But now we have to talk about Joe Harris. Is Joe Harris better than Jaylen Brown? No. Just flat out simple. No, Joe Harris is not. Is he a better shooter? 1,000,000 times yes. But as far as defender, Jaylen Brown wins that all day. He would eat Joe Harris up into a blender. I don't think Joe Harris will ever be a real good defender. I mean, granted, now he's not even decent. So, I mean, I think that's a stretch to even say that. So, I mean, Jaylen Brown, the only problem with Jaylen Brown, he wasn't consistent enough as far as creating his own shot. So, I mean, Joe Harris, you with him, you can come off screens and pick and roll, pick and pop actions with him and Jared Allen or Kyrie or something like that. I would probably use him more so with the line of like a JJ Redick as far as like coming off screens, doing stuff like that. So cutter to the basket. So, I mean, Joe Harris is probably better offensively than Jaylen Brown is, but not defensively, if we can say it like that. On top of that, you have to account Gordon Hayward. I mean, Gordon Hayward, even though for all the injuries he went through and the injury that happened to him in Boston that sidelined him for that whole year, and then he came back kind of sluggish but picked it up at the end. I mean, how many people on Brooklyn besides KD and Kyrie that are better than Gordon Hayward? I mean, you really can't name me too many. You could argue Karis LeVert hasn't been up to that level when he broke out, but like I said, the injury was there, so we don't really know what was possible. But overall, I think that definitely Karis LeVert had a better season than Gordon Hayward, but overall being better, I don't think that's the possibility, but it's not too far of a stretch either because we still haven't seen if Gordon Hayward bounce back from his injury, and we haven't seen how far Karis LeVert was going to jump. So, and then we get to the big man, Al Horford and Jared Allen. We're going Al Horford all day right here, straight up. You can say Jared Allen's way far better rim protector, but as far as the all-around game, Horford's game kind of just overshadows everything that Jared Allen could ever hope to do right now. Al Horford stretches the floor. He can pass. He can play power forward and center. He can give you both positions and shoot the three ball, stretch the floor out, create some space, put the ball on there just a tad. Jared Allen's kind of just only your rim running center, but also can block shots, and he's perfect at that. But I don't think you can really ask Jared Allen to do too much on offense. Then we get to, who else is on Brooklyn? I would probably say Marcus Smart is on Boston. So, you have Smart with defensive anchor. I don't think Brooklyn really has any defensive guards. And then you also have to take account, too, they had Robert Williams, even though he really didn't play, but he's shown to be a great rebounder in Summer League, even though it's just Summer League. So, overall, I think that Kyrie played better, had better teammates in Boston than he does in Brooklyn. But I think it's going to be up to Kenny Atkinson and these guys to keep that player development going, and let's see how far these guys can take a jump, especially with KD being out. Now, when KD comes back, I expect them to be a brute force just with him and Kyrie alone. Two guys that can score at will, Kyrie being able to get to the basket and KD just being a 7-footer pulling up on you. That's going to cause problems for any team that goes against them. So, we'll see. This is a lot of stuff to take in if I'm Brooklyn, but if anybody can make it work, I'm pretty sure after they did this whole thing and basically beat the Knicks timeline in 5 years. And